Your prayer life sucks. At least that's what you think, right? You feel like your prayers aren't being answered. You feel like maybe you're not saying the right combination of words. Well, you found the right video. After hearing this, your prayer life will be different. Can you share to someone else in your life to help them too? God does work like that. The devotional today, prayer changes you. Prayer is not designed to change God. No, it is designed to change us. Prayer is not calling God in to bless our activities. Rather, prayer takes us into God's presence, shows us His will, and prepares us to obey Him. Moses climbed Mount Sinai and spent 40 days communing with God. God showed him the wickedness of the Israelites. Moses had not known their desperate condition, nor had he realized the imminence of God's judgment upon them until God revealed it to him. As God made Moses aware of all that was at stake, Moses felt the same compassion for the people that God had felt. Moses became willing to sacrifice his own life for his obstinate people. In a compelling and selfless prayer of intercession, Moses offered to have his own name blotted out of the book of life if God would spare the people. In Moses' time with him, God had formed a mighty intercessor for his people. God will use your prayer times to soften your heart and change your focus. As you pray for others, the Holy Spirit will work in your heart so that you have the same compassion for them that God does. If you do not love people as you should, pray for them instead. If you are not as active in God's service as you know He wants you to be, begin praying. You cannot be intimately exposed to God's heart and remain complacent. The time spent with God will change you and will make you more like Christ. Guys, how often are we praying? Focus on that today. Meditate on it. Desire a greater prayer life, and peace will be upon you. Comment what you thought, share to somebody else, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Warning from God about the week of December 29th through January 4th. Something big is going to happen this week. The world is going to completely change for forever. And I'm not talking about the world. I'm talking about your world. I'm gonna give you one thing to do this week, and I guarantee if you do it, it will completely, absolutely, 100% change your life. All you gotta do is focus on God. It's simple, but it's not easy. Instead of focusing on all your problems, which you seem to be so good at, focus on the problem solver. Instead of focusing on all these things you can't control, the future, the timing, the outcome, what people are gonna say, think, or do, focus on the one who controls everything. What you look at the longest becomes the strongest. Think about Peter in the Bible. Peter was walking on water as long as he was focused on Jesus. But as soon as he turned away and started focusing on the storm, he started to sink. The same thing happens with us when we take our focus off of Jesus. We start to sink in anxiety, depression, fear. You are a result of what you focus on. If you focus on the world, you're gonna get worldly results. If you focus on God, you're gonna get godly results. Think about David and Goliath. Everybody else saw Goliath and they were scared because they were focused on the size of the giant. David pulled up and he was like, man, y'all scared of a giant? Do y'all realize who is on our side? David wasn't focused on the size of the giant. He was focused on the size of his God. Everybody else was measuring the giant against himself, but David was measuring the giant against God. And that's God math right there. I like God math because nothing you face this week is going to be bigger than God. And when David faced Goliath, he didn't talk about how dangerous Goliath was. He talked about how great his God is. Stop telling God how big your problems are and start telling your problems how big your God is, because nothing you face this week is going to be bigger than God. And I bet if David was a rapper, he would have said something like,
God's way too good. If I could thank him every second of the day, I would. I read the Bible and talk to the one who made the book. Go tell the devil, look, I'm losing, major look. They see me winning.